everybody. Welcome back. Hello. So we're almost done. I'm so excited. How is everybody? I got some bows cut out here. This is the bow that's usually for view B, but I thought maybe this small one would be pretty cute as a little accent. The lower one, the bigger one, probably not so much, but I cut it out anyway, just for funsies, I guess. I'm trying to figure out whether they want you to do this sort of thing and then bring it to the middle. Probably that's what it is. So you have a nice clean edge on the top. That's probably what it is. And then this knot probably is like this. Anyway, we're probably gonna do this little bow accent because I think I actually have enough of this to do that with. And I think that would be a cute little accent. Why not? We get to do the fun stuff today. Hi, Shiny. Hi, Charmadine. Hi, hi, hi. Hi to everybody. Not too bad here, says Sierra in Saddle Stitch Purgatory right now. Aw, can't wait to see how this turns out. Well, I finished with just a few things off camera that you already saw. You didn't miss anything. Let me go over this real quick. So I did finish after my bobbin thread ran out, as sometimes happens. I just finished the casings all the way across my folded back bodice piece. And I get to show you that little trick I keep talking about. I know everyone's really excited about that. So my idea was, even though this is a 2 panels rectangle skirt, we're gonna treat this the same way as if it were a border print. So in the original pattern, you might remember that you had a giant skirt piece like this with an arrow coming this way that says this is a fold. And so in theory, you would then have one very long piece double the size of this one. We're going to treat it as if it is one piece, and I'm going to show you how you can finish that back bodice if you did have that border print and you did it the way that it says in the instructions. Oh, Carolina! Thank you, Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and do some quick finishing on this guy. I cut off the selvage. Don't work with the selvage still on. I know it's tempting. My cat is yelling. I know it's tempting to work with the selvage because we cut this selvage to selvage, but you really don't want that showing through in your seam at all. It's just, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look very professional. So what we do is we always cut off the selvage when we're doing something in a factory, and we're measuring out our fabrics so that the pattern marker can be set on top of it. The inside of the selvage to the inside of the selvage is the workable amount of fabric that we use. We never use that outside braided edge that keeps the fabric from fraying when it's being woven. So, hi Minty! Hello and welcome everybody. My cat is being his usual self. Looking forward to seeing some photos on Discord to see the real colors. Oh yeah, definitely we'll get to that. Yes, I know. You are not starving for attention though. I got to cuddle you in my lap all morning. Apparently that's not good enough. I don't know what you want. Alright, so I'm going to get started with overlocking those side seams on my skirt. That means I need to plug things in, as it so happens. What? Why are you always so curious? Why? Is it 'cause you're a cat? Probably 'cause you're a cat. That's probably why. So, before I get into the meat of this, does anybody have any questions before we get started? Oh, it's so heavy. Hello, nerdy burb. Good afternoon. Maybe he already needs the treats. I mean, if it were up to him, he always needs the treats. I can't keep feeding him treats. Just like you can't keep giving your kid cookies just to keep them quiet. It's tempting though, because he's so cute. It's like you just want to spoil him, but he is already spoiled, unfortunately. Hey, look, a toy. Can I distract you with the toy? Is that a yes? Get it. No. No. Apparently not. You are really getting in my way here, cat. I know. You just want to be near Mama. I'm gonna have to lock you in the bedroom. Alright. That's apparently gonna have to happen. Come on, baby. I love you, I know. You're so sweet. He's gonna hang out with you. Meanwhile, Kara's just on the floor and chillin', so she's not very... I know! Poor baby. He's just... Sometimes he behaves a little better. Like, he can just be in the room, and sometimes not so much. He's just very demanding and, like, winding around my legs, and it's just like, I can't right now. I can't with this. So I have the benefit of an overlock machine. If you've never seen one, if you've never used one, I always say that it really elevates your work up to 11. It makes everything look really professional on the inside, because it allows you to have that nice kind of factory style finish. And this one particularly wasn't too expensive. I think I got this one for... I'm trying to think, 180? And it's really good. It actually does that narrow rolled hem with the satin stitch on it. So you can finish chiffon all fancy like. Yeah, I understand the need to lock them away. I mean, he's in a room with his litter box, and my boyfriend's in there right now, so he's not starving for attention, and he has a place to go to the bathroom, so he's fine. He had his breakfast. He has a toy box in there. He's gonna be okay. Our cats have their own toy box. Okay. So right now, I realize I have my music on. I will turn it off for you guys so that it's not so distracting. My boyfriend gave me this bit of stuff that's supposed to help with the traveling of my machine here. I only need a small square of it, so I guess I better cut that out now. How much would fit? Like here? Oh yeah, that would probably keep it really nice and sturdy. I'm gonna use my paper scissors because I don't care about them as much. This is that stuff that you put in your kitchen drawers. I'm hoping this works with that traveling problem that I've been having. Let's give this a shove over here, put this here. Okay. Let's test this theory. Finished one, right? I need to do both sides of both panels. Yeah, I did this one. Ooh, all the scraggles. Hello, Groovy Blue Hue! Oh my goodness, my friend! Let's see, we could do this. Does that work? God damn it! I have this! I can do it! Did it work? Why am I doing this wrong? Am I spelling something wrong? Thought I was being so clever. Minty, can you help me? It's supposed to do the thing where it says, look, you're a streamer. Hi, Ariel. We're making a strawberry shortcake dress. A ridiculous strawberry shortcake dress. But the point is that we're going over a commercially available pattern from Simplicity that's supposed to be a Lolita style. And yeah, we're just working on this project. Should be done today. So we don't have that much left to do on it. Hey, it's not traveling anymore. That's nice. That's really nice. Aw. That's Minty. She's my mod. She is an awesome mod, too. She's really on top of things. We always talk about you, Minty, and we're just so impressed by you. My boyfriend just loves it. You're so helpful to me. So I just thought I should say that. We say good things. Alright, so that's one panel, two sides, just one more to go. Doink. Oh my lordy lord. My cat's crying. Aww. Why, thank you. I do enjoy it. In fact, you know what, Ariel? I am wondering. I don't know. Do you like bright colors, right? Oh, your measurements are probably pretty small. 'Cause I think you're pretty skinny, aren't you? Trying to think if this dress would fit you. Yes, Kitty wants attention. If you don't have an interlocker, should I be zigzagging? Yes, you do wear bright colors. As for the zigzagging, you can. I think you can. And honestly, keeping the edge raw, if it's your first dress, I don't think you should worry about the overlocking at all. There are ways of finishing the hem nicer, so you don't have to have an interlock machine, but instead you might, I don't know, you could do a French seam or just a rolled hem and then put it together that way, so it's nice and finished on the inside too. But if it really is just your first dress and you're just wanting to get to learn how to put it together first, worry about those details later. Just worry about doing it like this. Oh my goodness! Oh, she's hosting me! Thank you, thank you! I have a Nyan Cat for hosting. I did this dress I did this last autumn for a little convention. Awesome! You always wear things a little bigger at times? Let's see, some sewing machines have an overlock point, but takes a long time. I don't know of any sewing machine that has... I mean, okay, no, that's not true. I do think that my little cheapy, it's a cheapy home machine, but it does great buttonholes for the price that I paid for it. I think it does have like a faux overlock thing, and it does take a long time. Again, I wouldn't worry about the overlocking. I have the overlock, so I'm using it. Just go ahead and focus on putting this together. So I'm just finishing it now like this because that's what I do. Let's see. I don't have an overlock. I use the stitches on my machine between a straight and a zigzag to finish my seams. That's cool. Yeah, my Janome has overlock stitches and an overlock presser foot. But it's much slower than the overlocker. This is true. If you want to, if you have the capability of doing it, you can go ahead and try it. I just worry about trying to start a new stitch when you're just learning how to put a dress together might distract you from completing the project. So I'd love for you to just focus on going through the basic steps first. And then when you get to maybe your second or third project, you could start looking at getting a little bit more advanced and applying those advanced techniques. My first dress didn't have any finishing. It was just sewn. That's it, straight stitch. And I did some gathering, but it was a Renaissance fair dress. I still have the pieces for the outer part of it too, but I don't have the chemise that I made for it. Oh. Okay. Hooray! So this guy worked really well from keeping my overlock machine from traveling. Let's see. I'm learning so much right now. I'll skip it. I do want to figure out the buttonholes for this project, though. That we can do. Most machines have pretty simple instructions on how to do it. If your machine is a one-step buttonhole, you're going to have an easier time. But don't worry if it's a three-step buttonhole, because if you look at, you can watch some videos on how to do the three-step buttonhole on some machines, like the mechanical ones that have the wheels on them. Those are typically a three-step buttonhole system. Don't panic, just watch a YouTube video and take it slow. Make some samples first, take some scrap and practice making your buttonholes before you feel confident enough to apply the buttonhole to your actual garment. Okay, so I'm going to make this a pretend one full piece. Just in case you do have that border print and you want to do it kind of like in the instructions, we're going to make this one long piece, as if it were cut that way, just like the instructions say to. Let's see. I have a fairly new machine, so I'm guessing it is a one-step. If it's a one-step, typically those are like computerized. And computerized just means like you have a digital digital read on your machine. It doesn't have to be fancy, but if it's a digital little screen on there, typically you might have a one-step. Hooray! You have a one-step buttonhole machine! I love my one-step machine. It's serious. It's a brother. I got it at Walmart. It's one of the Project Runway limited edition, like 1125, I think, CE 1125. What's this? Oh, Sophie Acre! Or is it Ecre? Looks Swedish. Alright, I am going to switch my camera. Oh, did I plug that back in? I did not. Alright, I might have to do some finagling here. Hang on. My industrial camera has been unplugged. Let's make sure that we have it going. Let's do this. Okay. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? No. Okay, how about now? Hey. Yeah, that's not so bad. Alright, that's not a bad angle. Digital is so cool. That is so cool. Hooray! I love being cool. I have all the tools. Over the years, I just collect things. Okay. Right now I have this. This is a zipper foot, actually. It's just a really wide zipper foot. I am going to switch it out to a more standard foot so I can focus on... And we are going to have to use something narrow like this. Most machines do come with different presser feet, so just be sure to look for what you've got and use those different presser feet to your advantage. They are useful to be able to switch out for different parts of the job. Okay, where is the one I'm looking for, though? I have so many. I have so many in this drawer. Just way too many. I think this one's my usual normal. Technically a narrow hem, but I've got my quick change screw loaded on here, so I don't have to use a screwdriver. Alright, so I'm just going to sew one side to make it as if it's one long piece. It is an all-over print, so I don't need to worry about the direction of my print. However, some of you might have a directional print. I have done this. I have put an entire panel of a skirt on upside down without realizing it. Boy, was I embarrassed. Okay, I want to make sure it's on 3. Okay, so I have my needle down, and I'm adjusting with the needle down so I don't have to worry about it shifting up here, knowing that it's aligned. I'm going to make sure I'm holding this. You can use pins. Don't be afraid to use pins. Just because I'm not using pins doesn't mean you can't. But this is a way of sewing in a factory, for instance, where you just make sure it's lined up and you go. Always back tack before and after you start. Make it part of your religion. It's that important. Alright, so that's done. Let's go back over here to the table. Strawberry shortcake is the best. Well, how about you send me your measurements, Ariel, and we'll see if this dress fits you. Because if it does, I'm just going to send it to you. So I think you would enjoy this dress. You deserve a new dress. You guys, I have known Ariel for a very long time. That's Groovy Blue Hue right there. Sorry, I think I can say your name. You say your name on your stream. It's not a secret. And she is a wonderful, colorful person, and so I thought a wonderful, colorful dress might suit her. Known her for years. Literal years. Oh, I needed to wake up my iron. Wake up, iron! Gosh, I really need that emote. That way everybody can slam the chat with the emote when I wake up my iron. That would be fun. I always get impatient with my iron. I want to turn it on right away and just use it. It's like, no, it needs time. It needs to wake up and yawn and stretch and go, oh, yes, I'm going to iron now in my own time. Whenever that is. The YouTube one is nice. Oh, wait, did I miss some of the conversation? Fabric is even cuter up close. I didn't. I do the. No, I didn't do the upside down one on stream. That as I actually gave it away as a gift, and I did mention to the giftee that there is a panel that's upside down. She didn't care. She just loved the dress. But no, that was before I started streaming. I don't remember if I did the same thing on stream, which would be hilarious. Uh, 3/8 inch seam. Yeah, I did it pretty narrow on the skirt just because I wanted to try to keep the integrity of the length. But just, it's gonna be fine. I say my name, yeah, I think it's been about 9 years. Jeez. Jeez. Alright, I think my iron is awake now. Hey! Ready to work! Alright, I'm butterflying this, which means opening this seam so that it lays flat and is easily workable and manageable when I'm attaching it to the bodice. We're going to finish the hem after the fact. That's usually one of the last things that I end up doing. So see how opening that seam just makes it super, super neat and tidy. Now the idea is that if you did have that border print and you cut that on the fold, the border print would continue. There would be no seam on the side, but this is going to be a side seam in this case. We're just going to pretend as if it's not there. Hello, unique name. I like to call you unique. Everyone is unique, but you are truly unique. Irons always scare me when the little steam comes out. Oh gosh. Well, if you do have that issue and you're making a dress, you can instead just spray water. 'Cause I understand it's sometimes very sudden and jerky. So this is going to be our skirt. Gosh, that is going to be a super bright, happy, sunny dress with strawberry shortcake all over it. Here's the front of it. This is the lining, which we are going to attach across the top. We need to finish our straps here. So this is the next step that I'm going to do right now. I need to sew. So I just kind of haphazardly placed the back part of the strap on top of it, just to get my bearings and make sure that it's gonna fit. Now, if you have this problem where after you've put in your ruffle and it's just kind of basted on, it might end up buckling a little bit. And you know that this should be a mirror image of the bottom piece. So if you have to, when you're sewing it, make sure you keep it taut. You can make sure that you're holding on to the end that it's going towards, because you know that it's going to fit and it should fit within the confines of that seam. So even if it's curling a little bit, just keep it nice and taut. So we're going to sew starting here all the way up, across, and down. I'm going to show you the method that I learned, that instead of going up and then coming off the top and then starting again and going from here all the way to the end and then starting again, you don't need to do that. You need to just turn your corner. With your needle down, you're going to turn that corner. So we're going to go do that right now so we can get these shoulder straps done. And I'm going to go ahead and get my Twitch chat going over here so I don't miss anything. We're going to go back to the industrial. Alright, let's see if I can put my money where my mouth is. So we're going to start at the bottom. The bottom has this diagonal edge. And also the lace that I chose to use is within the width of the strap itself, so you don't have to curl it the way that they explain in the instructions, because they recommend in the instructions or in the pattern itself to use a super wide Rochelle lace. And again, I advise against that. Super wide doesn't really look good, Rochelle especially not. So this is a little bit nicer, and it's going to be within the seam allowance here, so, or outside of the seam allowance, so it's not going to get caught. The seam allowance on the shoulder straps is 3/8, so this is one of those instances where the seam allowance is noted as different from the rest of the outfit. So we're going to do the 3/8 of an inch, which falls kind of in the middle of 1/4 and 1/2. So I'm going to start at the end Always back tack. Okay. Do I need to make some adjustments? I'm going to keep my needle down. I'm going to make sure this is going to fit nicely. I kind of sometimes curl it up like this to keep it taut. And I have a finger in between both layers to manipulate the fabric and keep it straight and aligned. Okay, let's see. Let's see how well we do here. I'm going to just use all my fingers. Sometimes it's very hard to do. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's gonna be very puffy. Oh, it's already curling. So that's probably me not pulling hard enough to make sure that it's going to fit in the space that I know it should be fitting. So what can we do in this case? What I have done sometimes, because I can be lazy, is I'll adjust this. Now let's check it. So here's the other thing that I might recommend that you do. So when you're cutting it out, when you're cutting out the whole pattern, you can add some notches around here to make sure that, like, maybe in a couple different places before you apply the lace, you can add a notch and use those as your milestones, your markers. So you can make sure that you're hitting those spaces in between. Because it might travel the way that it did here. Look at that discrepancy. Despite I was feeling like I was pulling it, but apparently not taut. Not tight enough. So, what can we do? Let's see. Alright, let's see if we can fix this. I could, before I undo all of that, I do have the other one. And we could also instead put pins down. I'm using pins? I know, it's just insane, right? Let's see. Can we put this? Let's see about... I mean, the notches would help you a lot before you put in the ruffle. So I'm gonna pull this taut. I have push pins because I can put them in my table. So that's gonna help me keep this tight. It could also be that this is stretching. I think I might have made a mistake too when I was cutting this out. And this fabric had a stretch to it going one way. So let's see if we can salvage this though, despite mistakes being made. Because more often than not, you're gonna make some mistakes and you need to be able to get yourself out of them. Okay, I'm gonna put some pins around here in intervals. See if we can make sure to keep this from traveling on me. Alright. Give that a try. We're gonna try again. Oh? Oh my lord, what in the world? uh, good to be scared. I've sewn through my finger twice. Second time the needle broke off and I had to get an x-ray in case it was still in there, and luckily it wasn't. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I put on some fake glasses because I'm scared of needles jumping into my eyes when they break. I'm so sorry that happened. Yeah. Just the tips, not into the bone. Thank goodness. Just got a bit careless. Oh my goodness. When I started hand quilting, I sewed my quilt to my finger. Oh my god. You guys. Oh my goodness. I mean, I've heard of this happening before. I mean, thankfully it hasn't happened to me, but God, I can't imagine what that must feel like. Ugh. My goodness. Start on the other side this time. So, okay. I think part of the problem is that the direction in which this was cut. Oh my goodness. Why did you do that though? Did it get caught? my, my thread just decided to take a vacation. Oh my goodness. Let's see if this helps. Okay. You know what? I am not liking this. The direction of the fabric is going the wrong way. I'm gonna take the extra step. I'm gonna do it because this is no bueno. It said the lining is supposed to be cut in this direction, but I don't know if they anticipated that that direction for this particular fabric would be stretchy. So it's throwing off everything I worked so hard for. I don't like it. So, we are going to fix this. Bloop, bloopity bloop. Luckily, I have enough remnant here. So remember what I said about stretchy fabric? Stretchy this way. Not stretchy that way. Okay, couple things. If it's not long enough, which it might not be, to go in the direction that I need it to go, so okay, it's not stretchy up and down, because the selvage is here and that's going up and down, but it is a little stretchy this way. We have to make a decision. So I may not have enough fabric long enough, In which case, what I would do is interface it. But I'm going to interface it with the lighter weight interfacing. The knit interfacing. Alright, so let's hang out for a little bit. Let's have a little chit chat. Oh, by the way, you guys, I don't know how you would see this, but I added sound alerts to my channel. So I think if you wanted to pay like 25 bits, you could make a sound maybe appropriate to the situation right now. But I don't know, let me know if you see that, cuz I added it and I have no idea what it looks like on an actual channel. We just can't use them very well. Evilness of sewing machines. They're not evil, they're our friends. We just can't use them very well. Sometimes. We can feel our fear and our stress just like printers. They smell the fear. They know when you're in a hurry and do their best to make sure you lose your mind. I mean, I kind of have to agree right there. Sometimes my machine has a mind of their own. So, yeah, we're just gonna hang out a little bit, because this needs to be done before the bodice gets put together. And we're just gonna use our razor to start doing the seam ripping. Oh, I know. I can pin this down, and then I can just do this. Haha! Seam ripping doesn't have to take forever. So once I put the interfacing on here, we're just going to pretend that I cut this in the right direction of the fabric, where it's not stretchy. It's also just going to help stabilize it in general. So even if it was the right direction, this might be an option for you. It doesn't say to interface this part, but that's what I'm going to do, because if I want to put this thing together properly, then that's going to have to happen. And I don't have enough of the fabric to cut 2 more pieces in the right direction. Oh, I think Mama Samu uses the sound alerts as well. I remember she was different and really funny gifts and sounds for different donations. Yeah, I picked some fun ones that seemed appropriate to the channel. I know that there's a Rickrolled one in there, and frankly, I like that song, so you can't really get me down with a Rickroll. I'm like, oh yeah, this song, I love this song. Alright, there's one. Eh. Eh. We're gonna finish this dress today. I don't care how long it takes me, we're gonna do it. This question might have been more appropriate for your previous videos, but I need help. I need help with measurements. Do you know how much shirring this can stretch to, and does it stretch to the waist? My measurements are 39 to 29, and the available ones on the back are 36 to 28 and 38-30. Okay, what's that second number? I'm trying to understand what the second number is. Let me look at the envelope real quick. I did mention that this was like super forgiving. So it's gonna tell you like the waist, This is the larger one. The waist is like a 34-inch waist, which is nuts to me. That's the limit. But this is gonna be very stretchy. So imagine that you might be able to stretch this out all the way. That's a lot. And the elastic guide, let's see, the smallest one is this much. So you're gonna have, let's see, from my 14, this much of a difference. That's a lot. That is almost 12 inches. Let me see. Bye, Groovy! Bust waist. Bust waist. Okay. Yeah, it's 13.5 inch difference. Finished probably is about 12.5. So you have an extra 12.5 inches. That's how forgiving this dress is. Because this, I mean, even if it's not completely all the way stretched out, you still have like maybe this much extra to go around your waist. So you're probably gonna be fine. I made mine 2 sizes smaller because I feel like it's going to stretch a lot. Exactly. Yeah, a fully shirred dress is like the perfect dress for selling, making and selling, just because it's so versatile. It's not, limited to just the one size and those one measurements. My Good to know! Yes, by the way, I don't know if it is obvious by now, but I am doing a sew-along with this tutorial. I am so happy to hear that. I think you mentioned something like that. I did invite everybody on the Discord server, if you are on there, to go ahead and post your whips. Post your work in progress. I want to see. I love that you're doing that. If that's the case, and if more people are interested in sew-alongs like this, I would definitely do more of them. I may do more advanced stuff outside of the simplicity pattern, but for sure, like more Otomo sewing for sure. I'd love to do sew-alongs for that. You know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to make a bonnet. I have this desire to make a bonnet, but I want to make it well. So I even have a book on hat making, hoping that it would instill some wisdom upon me on how hats like a bonnet would be properly made. I feel like I might need some millinery wire, but I don't want to invest in a whole new material if I don't have to. Still, definitely something I've always wanted to check out and try. So bonnet making, hat making in general. Come on, little fella. Boop boop a doo, almost there. Ugh. I, I know I have to keep myself from hurrying just because I'm close to the end. I get impatient. That's a bad habit. But almost, almost. So how do the sound alerts work? Like, where do you see them? Oh, let's see. I've been cleaning my studio to this as motivation during this. I'll definitely revisit when I have a table or desk to work on. I've had the half bonnet itch for a bit. Oh, I know. I've wanted to do it for a really long time. I'm down for ONS or GLB sew-alongs for sure. Let's do it. I have, well, the Gothic Lolita Bibles don't have the diagrams, unfortunately. If you have them, that would make it easier. I do want to try to do something a little more accessible. It's kind of the whole reason I focus on Gosurori or the Otomo sewing books, because you can draft the patterns from just the scans, the diagrams and stuff. Yeah. Okay. What? Oh my gosh. My neighbor. My neighbor was shouting at something. I don't know what that was about. Okay, we're gonna set this aside and fix our little mistake. At least the skirt's done. Giant long skirt. It's gonna be super full. Choo 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 choo. Alright, so we got these. These we are going to interface. Just pulling out the threads that I cut out. Too bad there. Okay. We're gonna do some ironing. Iron. Get all the scraggles off. Scraggle rock. Love a full skirt. Me too. I mean, when you have the amazing Clo 3D, maybe you could make some of the GLB patterns. Good. Good idea. We kind of need to keep working on that fundraiser, though. So we're halfway there. Jack was amazing with that awesome donation. So Clo 3D would allow me to put the pattern page on the table, take a picture of it, and then I can trace it, and then I can grade it. Those GLB patterns only come in one size. So I'm trying to raise money so I can get that license to get this program so I can share all of these really hard to find patterns. One day I will. The fundraiser ends at the end of July, so that y'all know. So if you can afford to like donate a couple bucks to the fundraiser, please feel free to do so. It would benefit everybody. Okay. So we need one of these. Actually, I need to iron these flat to make sure I have the right size. Thank you, Minty. GLB usually only comes with the pattern sheets, yeah. So there's no drafting it. Which is fine. They were pretty exclusive. A lot of those patterns, too, were from brand names. So I think one of the first jump skirts I ever made was from GLB, and it was an Innocent World jump skirt. It's a really cute little dress. And I actually made, I want to say I made like 2 versions of it, and they both sold really quickly. And it is, I think, fully shirred, but only one size. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get cut out. I don't care as much about this interfacing, so I don't care if I just use it up. I'm trying to use it up actually so that I could get the easy knit. I think the easy knit is the stuff that I remember that's similar to my deluxe tricot fusible that I try not to use too much of. That stuff is $8.99 a yard. The Easy Knit is a reasonable facsimile of that type. And then I accidentally ended up buying this stuff, which is called Sheer Knit. And it's not nearly as fine as I think the Easy Knit, and especially not the Deluxe brand. So, but this will work. It's very lightweight. We can make sure that we can interface these back portions of our straps so that they stop buckling on me. I hate that. I hate it. I would be so excited to see more GLB projects. I only have bad scans of most of the issues. Oh my. So hang on. I wonder if I can show you. I can take a picture. And that's not very attractive with all the stuff on there, but I have like doll stuff and oh my lord. Here. I will share a picture on the Discords. So if you're on Discord, you're gonna see this. There you go. Let's do it! I want to share those patterns. I really, really do. And that program would make it an amazing benefit to be able to trace them, digitize them, grade them, and then share them with you guys. There's some of them, I think one of the issues has BJD doll patterns as well. So that might be of interest to some of you. Ah, this is the one. I need this. I need a parchment paper. Yeah, the other drawback to this sheer knit tricot is the adhesive comes through the weave. So I have to put down a piece of parchment paper to keep it from sticking to my iron. I actually started sewing Lolita, like official Lolita, from the GLBs. So like I said, the first jump skirt I ever made was when I got the GLB that has the Innocent World jump skirt. It's like this all white jump skirt. It was like, I think it was a Christmas issue. And I liked it so much that not only that, but it had an entire dress in the magazine that I could make. So I'm like, I got some tracing paper and I started on making it, and it was the first project. I loved it. Then I found out that they had specific pattern books called the Gosuri pattern books, and by the time I found out about them, they were already canceled and out of print. I had managed to get, I think, a one back issue. I think the first one I ever got was 14. And then I found out that the same publishing company started a new series called Otome no Sewing. So from the very first issue of Otome no Sewing, I was on the ball and I got the first issue. And then I made sure that every time a new issue came out, I had it. So I have the complete collection of Otome no Sewing. I have 4 missing issues in my collection of the Gosuri pattern books. And everything, I have some spotty collection of anything of GLB before 30, but after 30 it's complete. So I was a little bit of a collector early in the days. And then I just started doing this. Do you think there will be a 2020 Otome no Sewing in August? I want to believe that there is. I know that they've slowed down their publication. It used to be twice a year, and then they went down to once a year not that long ago, and I worry that it's a waning series. It is a special edition sort of series. So it's not like the rest of, I think it's called Lady Boutique or Boutique Publishing House in Japan. They have like other series that they put out, and so Otome no Sewing just happens to be one of those limited edition, once in a while special things. They are having more entries from fashion design students, because you might notice that in the recent few issues or so, they've had like 2 pieces that was a final for a course at their fashion school. And then they included the winners of the design contest within the school as part of the patterns that you could use in the book. So maybe with the inclusion of outside designers, it might still be a survivable thing. Okay, so hopefully with the interfacing, this should help with the traveling. I mean, there is still a bit of a tension issue with when I put the lace on there, but it shouldn't be such a huge discrepancy now. Yes, the 2 pieces from the last issue. Oh, they tried. They were creative, and for that I applaud them. Whether or not the designs were something desirable to the market is another class. That's another class. But what they were doing was they were pushing the limits of their design and pattern making capabilities, and that's probably the main focus. Which, I can understand. I've been there. I've seen super weird things in my fashion design school. I think the student submissions are so funny and cute. I have scans of this casual clothing magazine called Female that did the same thing. You know what I miss is if you're familiar with the Gosudori pattern books, what they actually did was they had people send in their little design illustration, And the best ones were then chosen to be drafted into a pattern. So you see like the little submitted design of somebody's fan art of Lolita and what they think of as a good design, and then it was then recreated in a sample. They used to have pages with just the designs that was nice. Yeah, that was nice. And I kind of wished that they did that again because I thought that was really cute. I mean, the worry is that the interest of the fashion in Japan is waning. I don't want that to be the case. I don't think that is the case worldwide, but Japan has had it much longer than we have in the West, so it's still just gaining momentum here, which might be part of the problem. Okay, let's see if we can get this actually fitting into the seam now that it's not stretchy. Oh, by the way, guys, I started jump roping today for exercise, 'cause that's a thing. It's not curling as much, that's good. Okay, we still traveled a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as before, so I think we're gonna be okay. I'm walking it, and leaving it down and turning the corner. Okay, let's make sure this is all tucked in there. Still having issues, but that's also because of the puff of my lace here. Good grief. It controlled it a little better. I'm curious. Bring you over here. Did I not change my... I didn't change it. I'm sorry. I went over there and I totally ignored you guys. Didn't mean to. So... Let's see. Snip, snip, snip. Let's see it. He's so small. Doesn't look that small, but it is. Oh, the turning out. Ugh, I'm turning out of things. My nail. Yeah, I broke my nail the other day. I was so mad. It got caught in the wheel of my stitch length wheel on the machine. Like, sudden crack, and it was like this clean break right across. I'm like, aw, I worked so hard to grow that out. So that happened. It was a sad time. Eh. Teach you how to do this? How to do the turning out? I can do the other one, and I can show you. I'm kind of pulling on the lace a little bit, which you probably shouldn't rely on too much, but it's like the one thing I can grab onto to turn this inside out. Now, I did cut my corners, and I try to teach people not to do that, but in this instance, I think it's kind of the only option. And that's fine. You can cut your corners sometimes, but you get a cleaner finish when you fold your corners, and it's only when you can. You're not always able to access that. I'm gonna get this guy out, so I'm gonna pull out my corner with my awl. See if I can work it out a little bit. Here, I can get a little closer. There. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's actually pretty clean. Okay. Compress this. Oh, you didn't use lace. Actually, that's should be okay. What you can do... You hate turning stuff inside out? So sometimes this kind of thing should be in your toolbox if you need to grab. You can leave a little opening on the side if you need to finish this edge. There could be like a small opening somewhere where you can pull through your loop turner if you have a loop turner. You can stuff it through a tube turner system. It's called a tube turner. Okay, let's see if we can straighten this out. Yeah, your rouleau turner, your loop turner, exactly. It's a small, skinny, it's a long, skinny thing. I'll show you what it looks like. Looks like this. It's very skinny, and it's got a little hook on the end here where you can pull it through, and then it starts it working through. Okay. That's an interesting design. Funny. Just pulling out these little threads. Okay, so for the next one, let's try a little better. That's okay. It's workable. I know this fabric. It's okay. You can laugh. The point is you can see it, right? It's fun. Okay. Oh my god. What am I doing? What am I doing, Minty? What is she doing? So, See, this would be very helpful if you had notches kind of along here to give you some idea of where the top is supposed to land on the bottom. Are you genuflecting? Are you genuflecting? That is so funny. Dang it, I'm gonna do it on the other side too, because I can. Don't judge me. See it in the headlines now. Carol uses pins today. What? I'm tired of this. Like, come on, pattern, just do your job. Okay, this time we're gonna go over here. So you can see what I'm actually doing. Ah, look at all these pins. What the heck is going on? It's like the Twilight Zone. I know I said don't pull your fabric, but this is being awfully stubborn. Again? Again? Why? Why do you do this? Do I not give you enough love? Is there something happening that you need to tell me about? Do we need to talk? Okay, and you may have also noticed that I sew over my pins. And yes, yes I do. Uh, oh, what's happening? We should do a monthly challenge with a crazy hard but small project. But no one can use pins. You would hate quilting. It's all pins all the time. Yeah, I don't. I've tried quilting. I don't know if I have the patience for it, which is funny, because then I'm doing stuff like this. So I don't know if my argument even makes sense. I said that she can smell the barest hint of fear and stress. Cosplay sewing is the worst with a machine that can smell your stress. You guys are so funny. I mean, you're not wrong. Okay, I think I did better this time. I think I definitely did better this time because the pins helped and I stretched the hell out of it. So I made sure that that was going to be even and tight and not traveling on me. The other one came out okay. I just I ironed it flat and it seems all right, but gosh darn it, I just want to get over through this hurdle. We're fine. We're not even 2 o'clock yet, so we're okay. The pins helped. Stop it! No! Shh! Don't let the word get out, guys. Come on. I've got a reputation. I am also cutting my corners. Start praying to whatever gods you you pray to now, because the world might be ending. I also trimmed off the top just to keep it from having too much girth in there. Alright, so for this particular piece, because it's so wide, I can't use my tube turner. I'm not using my loop turner either. Although, I suppose I could. I mean, I didn't really have too much trouble just flipping it over here on the end for this pattern, for this particular piece anyway. And you just kind of start it and you work it. You start kind of shoving it into itself. See, I did it so much better the first time. What's going on? There. So if you don't have that lace to grab onto, which is fine if you didn't use your lace, you can use a pair of jeweler's pliers to grab on. Just be careful that you don't tear it, but it should help at least a little bit. Now I have my lace in the way, so I'm just going to use that. Sewing tutorial destroyed the Carol that we know. She's cutting corners using pins. Who knows what's coming next? I just can't. It's been 84 years, but I just finished turning on my first strap. Oh, but are you telling me though that you did it? You finished turning it out, right? Yeah, it can be challenging. God, you guys. Oh man, don't tell me that this nail is breaking on me, because I'm gonna be very sad. Sad panda. This is the part that's I feel is gonna take the longest, and then once we get to the bodice part, it's gonna be like easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Yay! Congratulations then. There's a trick where you can sew a tube. Yes, no, I've seen that too. Yeah, you can sew a little cord to the end. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna work on these little corners now. I'm using my pointy awl to get them nice and perfect. Try not to pull too hard with your pointy end, because you might end up stabbing through your fabric or breaking a thread that's keeping the seam together. There's all kinds of bad things that might happen if you work it too hard. There! That's the way it's supposed to look when it's done. I got it, guys. I did it. Okay. So we got the lace on the strap. The other one's fine. Alright. This is gonna go like this. This is gonna go like this. Let's get this done. So the placement. is like in between this seam right here. I've given up. I'm just gonna do this. So, I mean, sometimes, yeah, I do use pins for just keeping that down. Be back in an hour if you're still streaming therapy. Okay, good luck. Have a good session. Stay positive. Cool. So we're going to base these on. We're going to put on this lining only on the top. And then we're going to go ahead and prepare our back bodice with those 5 safety pins that I told you about. In fact, I could probably do that now, actually. Let's get the elastic. So the 5th elastic is on the bottom. It's the shortest. So remember, it actually goes like this, because the widest point is here at the top around your shoulders. So let's get some elastic. Got some here. Come on. So I have this elastic. Yes, I got it at Walmart because I just needed some quick elastic, and actually it's not too bad. Are you going to do the top ruffle lace? Yeah, I thought about that. Honestly, I'm still kind of deciding whether or not I want to. I don't like the way it looks, though. I mean, it's almost as if I suddenly care about the way that this dress looks. So, I have some mesh lace that could work. But I don't know. I'm still deciding. I think it's got a lot going already. So I'm measuring to the 14 line here. Okay, there's the elastic. So we know it goes in an order from longest to shortest. Okay. I'm going to set these up with some safety pins. This one, I'm going for smaller ones, so these are a little too big. But I do have the right amount of the smaller ones. Ow, my nose. Why though? Okay. Yeah, I usually do cut the elastic all the same length. I'm just following the instructions for the sake of those who want to follow the instructions. But yeah, my typical, and even in the Otomino sewing, a lot of the time they'll have pretty relatively same measurements for the elastic, except for maybe the bottom. So I don't know. I'm just doing it the way it says in the book. Okay. So here's where we get started. Since these are both the same side, we're just gonna go with this side is the side we're gonna sew first. So I'm gonna insert from here and just not pull all the way through. I'm gonna start with my top get this started over here. And we're gonna do our bodkin move, our little inchworm. I'm sure you've had experience pulling through cord or ribbon. Like if you lost the hoodie cord, you would use a safety pin to pull it through, just like this. Just watch it so you're not pulling it all the way. You want to keep like a half an inch sticking out. Get this feeling that this is going to be really big on me. But then again, I might be wrong, so who knows? This is already like... So like this, right here. And I'm going to put a pin through the elastic and the bodice to make sure that's not going to go anywhere. That's just where it's going to stay for now. And you kind of do that all the way down so that you have all your elastics in that void. And that's the word I was looking for last time when I was trying to talk about the place in between the stitches that makes the casing. The void. I totally blanked on that word. Like, what? Just check it every once in a while to make sure it's not going to get swallowed up in there. Like that. Right through the elastic in between. I mean, I imagine it's gonna be a really comfortable dress. Do. Let's see, I would call them channels or casings. Yes. Casings is pretty typical. That's usually what I call them. Channels too. Casings more. Oh my lord. The time-consuming little details. Why does a dress cost so much money to make it? Huh? Tell me that. You ever get that? Have you guys, any of you guys sold at cons? I sew for a living. That right there is such a mood. I know. I can't tell you how many times some group of girls come up to my booth where I have like pretty much everything that you see on Etsy, minus the new stuff. But, you know, all the Lolita stuff, and it's priced at $50 because I was new, but, like, one of them was that flower petal dress that's one of my earliest pieces. So I was selling that for $50, and they go up to the price tag, and they're like, so expensive! I could never afford that. And I'm just like, and I don't say anything because it's already rude enough that they're saying something like that to themselves, but I don't know how to deal with that sort of situation. Like, come on now. Do you know how much time goes into these? And skill, and learning, and school, materials notwithstanding. How about people that say, I could make that for $20? Yeah, I know. Okay, go ahead then. I invite you to try. Okay, so we got started here. We have our little elastics sticking out just a little bit, just to be sure that we have them inserted. And the safety pins are just kind of in the middle. We're not going to draw them through all the way. And we're just going to, like, leave them there forever and ever. No, not forever and ever. Just kidding. It's not how we're going to do it. We are going to do our shoulder straps. And we're going to do our side seam. Yeah, right. Good luck. And I always forget, always, 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 my snips that are supposed to be right next to me. Right here. Okay. Alright, guys. So, let's, set this aside for now. I just want to baste on my shoulder straps. Kind of at 3/8. I'm not even top stitching the shoulder straps. I'm just gonna let them be. Okay. We're gonna do the lining, right sides together. Seeing if we could match our seams here. Also, I can probably just snip these off. We don't need that extra. Okay. It's not bad. So I'm matching my seams here. Remember, it's supposed to nest with each other. Let's make sure. A little bit closer over here. Here. Just checking placement. Now, I do recall that this is a 5/8 seam allowance. So it's the super long seam allowance. I'm holding on to my placements here because these are my markers. Just making sure that's going to land where it needs to. Here. Thick. Now, alternatively, you could choose as well to start in the middle. If you're having an issue with the traveling thing, for instance, like what we did. So you could do the middle to the side and then just switch it. Okay, this is just gonna... I'm using all my fingers. Okay. Let's see how well we can do with this next step that I kept touting. Now, we do need to clip this just to make sure that it turns over properly. Did I take my... No. Make sure that I have my chat with me. Okay. You guys can see this, right? Just gonna ease this out a little bit over here. Ooh. Okay. You can understitch this. It's kind of a recommended thing so that it keeps it from rolling up. And understitching is really just stitching the lining to the seam allowance. Let me just make sure that this is looking the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, I did not add that ruffle. I don't like it. I mean, you can if you want to. I was going to add just a tiny little bow right here at the top. Other than that, I think it looks fine as is. If you also wanted to, you could add like a little Venice layer lace applique across the top. But that Rochelle ruffle just, I feel, looks bad. Again, this coming from somebody who chose Strawberry Shortcake as the print for this demo. Don't judge me. Now I see the day glow colors. Yeah, well, you'll see them good when I do the whole thing. Okay, so actually that looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some understitching now. See how well I can do this. Ah. I don't know what's going on with this thread roll that I have. So, let's see. I'm just gonna try to open this up so that it is concave toward me here. Pulling it. I should probably do this more on my finished garments, but I don't. Okay. Oh, you fell behind? Well, it's okay, because you can rewatch stuff after today. Okay. straightening this out now. Doesn't look half bad. Should be pressed. Alright, now we are going to attach this over here. So I'm putting this side, I don't know how well you can see that, but our finished side on the right side of the fabric. So what I'm going to try to do is, first of all, we have the lining attached on the top of the neckline. We're going to try to match up this fold right here. And just sew it on the side. On the shell bodice only. We're going to finish the lining afterward, but the first thing we need to do is just attach it here. And look, I can use this pin and pull it all the way through so that that stays where it is. On tails, this is at a 5/8. Okay, we're holding on to where we know it's going to meet. Right at that top seam. To confirm, sewing to the shell only? Yes. Because we're going to finish that lining after the skirt's been attached. And I mentioned to somebody that we're going to end up doing like a little origami to finish the sides. There we go. Now that these are secured, the elastics are secured in here. So you see, it goes like this. We have the elastics in here. Now we can pull the elastic all the way through to the other side once the skirt is attached. But we're going to put the skirt on while it's still flat. That's why we have it floating in the middle, so we could do that afterward. When we do this part, let's see, how can I explain this? Okay, I don't know how well actually, or how close it is, but we have our side seam here. Our lining goes this way. We're kind of going to flip this around because we know that this side seam goes here. So we're just going to flip it around and sew it to the seam allowance. And then that's going to finish the inside of the side seam. Can you see that? Or is that going to take more demonstration? Probably. We'll get to that too, but we'll do the same thing on the other side. But for now, we need to do our skirt. Okay. Seriously, I have so much stuff on here. Why? All the pins. Is everyone following along okay so far? Luckily, there's replay. So if you missed something, you can certainly review. Let's take a look at this on the table. So you can sort of see a little better what I was talking about. So now I've got my understitching here. This is that loose inside seam that's going to get kind of put in here like this. And once this is put into place, we're just going to turn it inside out and sew just along the seam allowance. And then it's going to be a finished inside lining. It'll make it look really nice and pretty, trust me. Okay. So for this guy, we need to split this into sections. We have a lot to gather. This is a big, voluminous skirt. But essentially, this is going to be going on the inside. And then this is going to be matching to that side seam. So we know that goes there. There's going to be some gathering on the back, but not as much. So we could probably split the back part into two pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a machine basting from here to the middle to the side. And that's going to be for the back. So we can split the back into two giant sections because there's not going to be a lot of gathering there. The smaller one is the front, so we could probably split this one. No, you know what? What am I talking about? We're just going to split it into like two sections. Sometimes I do 4 because there is a lot. Okay. So I'm going to fold this. And snippy snip wherever all my snips are over there. What's wrong with me? Eh. Okay, so we're gonna do probably 4 sections. That's probably safer. Okay, we got little bits, little notches, identifying 4 sections. Then the back part, I'm kind of taking into account the seam allowance of this seam. So I'm measuring about a 1/2 inch in, and that's where I'm finding my middle when I fold it. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna find our center. We're just gonna match that notch. So this one, let's see, we'll find the center here. And looks to be about here. It is a 5/8 seam allowance, so I'm only snipping about a 1/4 inch in. We're gonna be fine. So these notches, okay, so there's 3 notches. 4 sections, 3 notches are gonna be matched to the ones that we just made on the skirt. So I'm gonna go ahead and baste this really quick. I won't even change the camera unless you need to watch basting. You know what? Why not? Actually, why not? Why are you sticking? I wonder why it's doing that. I think there's a thing here I can stave that off with. Let me see. Is this gonna work? No, that's not it. There's like a top thing that goes on there. Thought that was it. I found out why my thread is popping. Okay, I actually don't know if that's gonna help or not. Ah, the trials and tribulations. For real. Alright, I can't catch a break apparently. It's fine. Alright, so I have this method that I use for machine basting. See, where are my notches? Are my notches on the other side? Because that's the side that I'm going to attach it to. For real now. Well, they've got to be somewhere. There it is. Okay, so it's this side. Okay. So when I put my skirt on, it's right sides together. So I'm going to be sewing my basting with the wrong side facing up and my notches here. What's going on, nerdy burb? I saved my straps. I sewed my straps to the bottom of the bodice. Oh no! No! Get that seam ripper quick! You know what? I completely understand. Everyone here can attest to it. They've seen me do it. When I'm rushing, I make a lot of mistakes. And it is embarrassing because I'm on camera. But don't you worry, it can be fixed and easily at that. You are okay. Alright, so I wanted to go over this real quick. I have the wrong side facing up. My notches are here. This is the section that's going to be sewn to the bodice. And this is my first notch. What I do is I start with a back tack. Okay, it's at the longest stitch length right here, by the way. So with a very long stitch length, I back tack here, and I'm going to sew just to this notch. Straight sewing. Okay, and that's it. And I'm going to make that my first section. The bottom part where I just ended has no back tack on it, so I can pull it while I'm sewing it. I find this method very helpful. I had to experiment a lot with ruffling. So, starting at that same notch, I'm just going to move a tiny bit past it now. Okay, start a couple stitches, back tack. Alright, and then we go again to the next notch, which is here. Okay, and I do not back tack. I leave it loose so that I can pull that string. Start it back up, right just past it. Okay, back tack. To the next notch. Away! Here. Okay. And then to the side seam. So when I sew my ruffles on, my gathering, I usually sew it with the ruffle side up. That way I can control it. So this one, because it's going into a less gathered area, I only have 2 long sections of gathering. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to fix it into place with a back stitch and then go all the way to that middle notch that I put in. Okay. And now the part. Now we get to attach this. So divide and conquer is usually my modus operandi. We're going to make sure this side seam is, well, it needs to be going towards the front because that's how we're going to be finishing our lining piece. So we're going to make sure this is going this way. And we're matching up this side seam, which would be marked on a full-length border print as your center, where the fold is. Right here. And oh my god. Dear God, what is happening? What? What? Pins? Pins again? No, pins are kind of necessary for this step. There's only so much one can do when you're still home sewing. Factories have all kinds of tools and machines that are special for this sort of thing. They have computerized ruffle machines that know exactly what length to ruffle something and attaches it at the same time. So we don't have that benefit. So we still have to make sure we apply our notches and gather and do all that stuff. Pin it, as it so happens. Okay, so our first notch. So when you're pulling these threads too, you want to make sure that you're pulling the bobbin thread. That's the bottom thread. Did you fix it, Nerdy Burb? Did you fix it? I'm sorry you're having a sad time. I told you about the time when I put an entire panel of a cloak on upside down. For some reason totally mixing up the roundness of the shoulder. That should have been obvious, but I guess it wasn't. That was fun to take apart. Okay, so we have our 4 little sections sitting on a bodice. And then we're going to do our side to side and then the one middle notch. Right here and here. We have our notches matched. So here we have the benefit of one side is locked in, so it's not going to pull through. and the other side is the pulling thread. So you can actually pull it completely taut, like way smaller than the section that you're going to be putting it into, and leave it like that. And then once you get to your machine, you can then manipulate it and spread it out as you go. So you don't have to spend time here adjusting all the ruffles and the gathers. Just pull it, pull it, pull it, and then work on it when you get to the machine, because you're going to have to adjust it anyway. So it just makes it easier and saves you an extra step. You just pull it taut and distribute your gathers while you're sitting at the machine. Is this my thread? Which one's my thread? This one? There it is. Sorry, I had to step away for a sec. That's okay. Don't worry, hon. I was just hoping your thing's okay. So sorry that happened. So yeah, starting with that back tack helps a lot, because you don't have the problem of having the thread pull all the way through and ruining the basting stitch that you just put in to gather. Sorry, I had to step away. Oh, it's fine. It's not the worst thing that has happened. That's good. I hate it when things are discouraging, so I was just hoping it wasn't too discouraging for you. You guys, give me about... I need 5 minutes. I've been standing here for a long time, and I really want to get through this. We're almost there. So 5 minutes, and I will be right back. Alright, you guys. I took a quick break. I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off that music and come back this way. So we got our gathering. We're gonna go ahead and gather and attach. Let's take it. Let's do it. Alright, we're gonna go to industrial. Oh look, my snips are where they're supposed to be. Hooray! Okay, so this part. This took me a little bit of time to get right. Sometimes I would just get impatient, and that was not good. Early on in my youth, I would just kind of go for it, even though like the cartridge pleating was super, super thick, and I wasn't paying attention to like little tongues sticking out and stuff like that. So you just have to watch that bit of it. So here is where that gathering technique that I showed you really comes in handy. So we're gonna try, I mean there's a lot of strings, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of strings there happening. So let's just try to find the one pulls this section. So I've got this, kind of winding it around my hands. You gotta make sure that everything is flat underneath you, because you don't want any puckers and stuff like that. But I'm going to keep this taut. See, remember how I just gathered it like completely recklessly? So I'm going to put my needle down right at the edge, like about a 1/4 inch or so. This is supposed to be a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Also, turning on my machine might help. Just a thought. We're going to make sure that our stitch length is back to normal. So at 3 for here should be okay. 2.53 is pretty standard. Always backstitch. You don't want this unraveling on your client or on yourself if you're making this for yourself or anybody. So I have this. Let's see. Yeah, so this is my gathering thread. Try to wind this so I can control the tightness. It's tacked. Remember how it's tacked up here? So this is not going to move this way. It's not going to unravel. It's only going to be loosened by the control thread here. So I'm just going to make sure this is distributed evenly to my liking. This is why I do these small sections. Kind of straighten it back here at the hem. Use all your fingers. Make sure that it's not going anywhere here. And then we're just going to go ahead and sew this. Okay, and then you come to the next section where it's been pinned. And actually, you can take these pins out now. With your needle down, because if you're manipulating anything, you want to make sure it's going to stay put. So here we need to find our other control thread. This is it. Try to keep everything straight and flat underneath your section that you're gathering. Hito Akemi, welcome back! Control thread is held. We're just spreading our section of the gathering, making sure it's flat underneath. Using all your fingers, all the muscles. Keep that just in small sections. Don't rush this. Sort of traveling here, so I need to fix that. Okay, my next section, I feel it. My needle down. Okay, so next row. Next part here. Here it is. Press your foot up, you can manipulate this. Your needle is down, so you should be okay. Okay, there's a little bit here that I can just squish down flat and move a little bit closer to my notch. Still have my control thread here. And now it's not going to move. Okay. Spread those little gathers. So this saves you the time of doing it at your table before you get to your machine. This might be more of an advanced technique, but it sure was helpful for me when I discovered that this really works well for me. All your fingers. Look at my pinky. This is just working. Working hard. Okay. Needle down. And we can pull this out. Here's my last one. Control thread here. Eek. Just trying to make sure it's not gonna get caught. Okay. Should probably be using a different presser foot for this, but here we are. We're here now. Okay, to that side seam, needle down. Okay, pull that out. It's my time to leave. Okay, Minty. We'll miss you. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate your help as always. There's my control thread. There it is. So as you can see, this back part is somewhat gathered, which is the reason why I wanted to show you how to do the back this way. It's not as tightly gathered as the front of the bodice is, but it still would be kind of a pain to try to make sure that this skirt fit within an already shirred bodice with elastic in it. So now, this is about the distribution of gathers that I want for this section. I have it wound around my finger, the control thread, that bobbin thread that we're pulling with, making sure everything is flat where it's going to get attached. And we sew at about that same seam allowance, 5/8. See. So I do want to say too that this is not my typical way or method that I would be attaching the skirt to the bodice. But that is again for probably for more advanced students. And I have done it in the past. You've seen me do the rolling up and the lining and everything and doing it inside out, and that's really the method that they use when they're doing this in a factory, but obviously we're doing a home sewing technique here, so this is fine. This is how they say basically to do it, except before the elastic is pulled through. This will still make life easier. Okay, right up to my notch where my needle or my pin is. I'll pull out the pin, making sure my needle's down. And then we have our last section of the back bodice. So if you need to re-watch this, that is what the archive videos are for. And again, this is going to be posted onto YouTube, so it will be there forever until YouTube loses their servers or something. I don't know. Can't wait to watch this tomorrow because I'm like 10 steps back. Aw, no worries. You will get it. And remember, if you have questions, you can definitely ask me. One of these days we ought to do like a video class with my patrons or something. I do have that as one of the exclusives for the patrons at tier 3. You get live classes, private. So video chat classes for an hour. And that's a once per month perk. Oh, Commander Dante! Oh man, I feel so bad I haven't visited you at your channel lately. I saw you were on today. How you doing, friend? Thank you so much for raiding. We're doing some industrial sewing over here. Wonderful, wonderful. So good to have you. Did you have a good stream? What'd you work on today? You still working on your chainmail? Alright guys, we're gonna do a big reveal in a minute here. It's gonna be very exciting. Whew. It's a lot of string. I think it's gonna look good though. Alright, let's go back to the table. Hi, Commander Dante. Thanks for bringing your crew. We're making a ridiculous Miss Frizzle dress as part of a tutorial. What we're working on today. I can't remember 2 things: the color of rings for your sub and what language you wanted your username initials engraved on the beer mug. I said Elvish, or Elven. I say Elvish in Tolkien, but it's Elven in D&D, I don't know. Elven, and I think it was definitely a pink. I think pink and blue? I forget what the choices were. I think one of them was definitely pink. Yes, Miss Frizzle. Like her super bright dresses. Here's the front of it here. Oh, hello. Oh. Thanks for liking my stream over on Facebook. Okay. This is mostly getting there. So you see now, we have all this gathered, perfectly straight. And now that this is sewn in, we already have the elastic just sitting in there, waiting. Just pulling off the little control threads that I had for the gathering. Okay. Genius! You see! You see! I do not lead you astray. Where are they? Here they are. You know what I should probably do is overlock this seam right here. Ta-da! You just do that all the way down. So you get it now. That's my secret. That's the big secret right there. I do need to overlock this. It's gonna drive me crazy. Don't worry if you don't have an overlock machine. We went over this. You can do a zigzag stitch to keep that seam on the waist seam intact. And try to control it a little bit. But I have an overlock machine, so that's what I'm gonna use. Okay. Just real quick. I'm just gonna go through this. Oh, by the way, the sticky thing works. He's not listening. He's playing games. That is so much easier than pulling and sewing at the elastic. Right? Right? I'm so glad that I can impart this wisdom upon you. The, I mean, the pattern itself is still kind of weird, but whatever makes it easier, right? Alright. Yay, overlock machine. Just make sure that it's flat so you don't get a hole in the middle of your dress. The brilliance of an overlock machine is that it trims off that end at the same time. Beautiful. That's much better. We're almost done with today's stream, so I'm just going to pull the rest of these elastics out so you can see them and probably stitch those into place, and then today will be done. Just going to unplug it. This thing is working very well. I'm very happy with that. So, you might encounter something like this. And that's okay. You can snip this. Just don't snip all the way through to the side seam. But if you need to release something, you can always snip it at an angle or just right here. Alright, let's do the rest of these. My poor cat is crying. He's playing Call of Duty. I have this sneaking suspicion that this is gonna be a little too big for me. But we'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. Oh yeah. Is your cat still in his room? Yeah. Yeah, he is. He can't help himself. So we gotta keep him in a little timeout. He has a window. Like I said, he has his basket of toys. He'll be fine. Ugh. Ugh. So they do actually make bodkins. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a bodkin, but it's an actual, like, that is its purpose, is to shuttle elastic and ribbon and cord through channels or casings like this. I think I even saw a pack of 5 available, maybe? I have to check that out, because if I do this more often, well, it sure be helpful. That's starting to look nice. I think I've been asleep. I think I have been asleep on days you have been on Xbox for COD. Oh, possibly. Actually, and I play on PC. But that is possible, and that is okay. Stretchy. Yes, it is very stretchy. Getting there. We're getting there. We have one more after this, and then we're done. I'm pulling it a little extra tight, because it's gonna have... It's elastic, so it's gonna have a lot of ease to it anyway, just by its nature. Alright, last one. The last one is the shortest one, so it's got longer to go on the other side. Awesome! We got this, guys. We got this. working as fast as I can. Oh, my cat. That's all I hear. I have music in one ear and then my cat from my bedroom in the other. So sad. Why have you forsaken me, human? Why do you leave me here? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Nice. Ta-da! As my patterns go flying to the floor. That is so bright. Oh my god, this is so bright. You can't, I don't think you can see the appreciation of the color here. That is so freaking bright. It's so funny. It's a clown dress. And there is such a thing as clown fashion. That is a thing. I know plenty of people that have no problem wearing something like this, just by nature of the colors. Alright, so I'm gonna fix these guys into place. And then I think that's where we're gonna call it a day. But we did a lot today, guys. I'm just gonna go straight up and down just to sew the elastics in here. Nothing special. I am using a shorter stitch length though. Just to be sure it's catching everything. Okay. Huzzah! We did it! Way cuter than expected? Oh my. So I have reservations about using this fabric just because I don't know if you know, I mean maybe you know, that the Lolita community can be really judgy and kind of salty when people take their fashion and turn it up inside out on its head and you're not wearing a petticoat. You should wear a blouse. Why aren't you wearing stockings? That sort of thing. And especially like, oh, that print is so cheap or things like that. So I have been around for long enough to experience these things firsthand and personally. So it makes me I mean I chose this cuz it's fun, one, but I'm also like hyper aware of I'm sure there's plenty of Lolitas out there that have lots of very heavy opinions about the print that I chose. So I'm a little bit like, yeah, it's cute, but I know. I just know. I know it's not right. Okay, just shut up. But here we go. Beginnings of a dress. Eh, eh, eh. Just needs to be sewn on the side. I think we even did that understitching. So fancy. I'm trying to like get sit. I mean, not bad, right? Well, it's not really Lolita, but it's still cute. Yeah, that much we can agree on. It's still cute. Not really Lolita. You get the basics of the shapes. This, bodice, jump skirt, straps, that sort of thing. how to read the pattern, how to put it together. That's really what I'm going for. So now, hopefully, knowing what the side front looks like and the center and all that fun stuff, how it's sort of put together, you get the basic idea of how a true Lolita design might be put together as well. We are going to finish this dress, just not right now. I did want to go over really quick one more time down here. See, I released this. It got, when I did the overlocking, the side seam here got caught going the wrong way, so I just snipped it so that it can go the right way, going this way. And we're going to flip this inside out, like so. And we're going to sew all the way down. And so that's going to finish the inside this way. And then we need to do this one. So closing this side seam, it's like a birthday party dress, I feel. So we're going to match our side seam at the waist, all the way down, all the way up, just on the shell. We're going to try to do that same thing. We want to make sure that the top of our fold, first of all, when we're sewing our side seam over here, we're going to try to move that elastic and straighten it out down this way. So matching that top fold to the seam where the lining and the shell meet down here. So close. Very close. Actually, no, we're okay. Okay. So we're going to sew that, and then we're going to do a little flippity flop origami thing to finish the inside lining of the bodice on that side. Please post this on LSC once it's done. Well, I don't know. It's very costumey, and I am an admin, so I would know that this would go against the rules. I don't know. I don't know if I should do that, but that finishes nicely. Okay. So we're going to leave it there. I am going to... Maybe we should just put her on the dress form. Shouldn't we do that? We should put her on the dress form. Let's end with a dress form. Just a joke. Oh, thank goodness, because I'm like, ah. I mean, it is fun. Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna... That's gonna be tight enough. No worries. And not too tight either. Come on, buddy. You want to fold. Do I have? I do. I have. Have another one? I do. That's fun. It'll look better with a crossover, but okay. Not bad. It's different. It's kind of pinned in right now, and it doesn't have the finished interior, but you get the idea. Strawberry shortcake party dress. Alright, guys. So I think that's going to be it for me today. And I really appreciate you all coming out and rating me as well. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something. I'm not sure about coming back on tomorrow, although I probably should just to be able to finish this thing. Next week, I'm going to be off because I need to spend a good amount of time finishing up that tutorial that we worked on quite a few weeks ago now, so that needs to happen and I need to concentrate on that. So next week there won't be any stream. We'll try to finish this tomorrow. And again, if you have any questions at all, you know where to find me on Discord and on the Lolita Sewing Collective as well. So with that said, I hope you have a wonderful evening or afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. So bye!